believe Ted Bundy killed your daughter?
I do. I believe that with all my heart. I feel it. And I really think he's a psychopath, and I think that he will murder another girl, and I think the death penalty is a deterrent, and I'm very pleased that that jury had enough guts to recommend it.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Today, here I am in Salt Lake City, Utah. A city I've never been to before, but a city that I've been enjoying very, very much. It's a beautiful city. I'm in the University District. It's just right over there. A lot of these houses along here, all university students. I've done quite a few videos about Ted Bundy, and I've got quite a few more coming. I will tell you, this location, it's right out in the open, but it's blurred out on Google Maps. They've got no trespassing signs. They've got video surveillance. They've tried, rightfully so, as I'm about to film. You know, they're very private. The address is well known. When you put the address into Google or you put in Ted Bundy's house, it comes up right away. And you know, on Google Maps, people have it marked. So I don't feel like I'm going too far in terms of showing the house because it's very well documented where it is. Okay, so I've done quite a few Ted Bundy videos. This one, we're gonna walk down, I'm gonna show you the home where he lived for a very short period of time. He moved here in September of 1974 to go to the University of Utah Law School. Ted Bundy, a lawyer. Okay. Of course, famously, he represented himself at one point. People who choose to represent themselves in cases, especially serious ones, are never the sharpest tools in the shed. Come on. If you don't have a full law degree, you shouldn't be representing yourself. And Ted Bundy, a lot of people think he was a mastermind criminal. You know, he escaped from a couple of jails. Yeah, he eluded the police. But let's be serious. He was not. Serial killers aren't, you know, I don't know. They're not that smart. They're awful, awful human beings. The worst of the worst. He'd already murdered quite a few women in the Washington area when he moved here. I think there was about 8 women, possibly more. But in 1974, he moved here, just down this street, First Street. I'm going to tell you more about it right now. So, a lot of my information, I believe, is for this video, will be from Morbid Tourism, because they had a great little article about his Utah spots. And almost immediately after moving into the home here, he began murdering women and teenage girls right here in the Salt Lake City area. Confirmed victims up until this point, that's the house right there on your left. There's 2 houses in the middle, we're looking at the left. I just gotta get in some shade here. The confirmed victims of Ted Bundy up to this point have been college-age women. But while living here, he started to focus more on like high school and middle school age girls, because 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and we're going to visit the grave of one girl. It's difficult when it comes to someone like Ted Bundy to get to all of the graves. I wish I could, but I randomly chose one. I had to pay respect to all of them. So while he was living in this house right here, he murdered at least 10 girls, ranging in age from 12 to 26. This is where it gets weird. He later admitted to bathing the bodies of some of his victims and applying makeup after they were dead, photographing the bodies, and he hid the photos in the utility room of the boarding house. So you can see all around there's student housing. And literally right around this corner is where the university is, not too far from here. In November of 1974, he attempted to abduct a lady named Carol DeRanche from a mall. One of his MOs, he impersonated a police officer and told her someone was trying to steal her car, she needed to come out to the mall parking lot with him. This is a very famous Ted Bundy, one of the more famous, infamous. He attempted to handcuff her. She escaped and got to safety. She made a full police report with a description of Bundy and the vehicle he was driving. So in August of 1975, he was pulled over and arrested for cruising around a neighborhood in early morning hours. Then, of course, as Ted Bundy he fled. He sped away. The cops followed him. They caught him. They searched his car. They found ski mask, handcuffs, trash bags, rope. Then, after his arrest, a detective recognized his car from when Carol DeRanche reported him. Then the police asked Carol DeRanche to identify her abductor in a lineup, and she successfully identified Theodore Bundy. He was formally charged with attempted kidnapping in the DeRanche case and murder in the case of Carol Campbell, whom he abducted from the Wildwood Inn in January 1975. He was let out on bail. That is just unreal. Paid for by his parents. He then left Utah, went back to Seattle, lived with his girlfriend there until the trial in Utah began. So on the east side of this house here, so it's right there to our left, there's a fire escape. And that's how Ted Bundy would enter and exit the home at all hours, so he wasn't seen by the other tenants. He was in room 2. The room has since been renumbered to room number 5. I'm gonna give you some quotes that Ted Bundy said about his time in Utah. I loved Utah. I decided I was moving down there in September of 1974. By the time he arrived here, though, in Salt Lake City, like I said, he had already killed quite a few women. Police were looking for a killer named Ted. Ted Bundy says, I hopped on the interstate going south toward Provo. This is describing one of his, how good he felt being in Salt Lake City. He loved it here. Provo is just south of Salt Lake. All of a sudden, I felt almost euphoric. I just looked out the window and watched the scenery, which indeed is beautiful, and dreamed and reminisced, and generally remained a real good feeling I had all the way into Utah. So I believe the grave I'm going to visit is Melissa Smith is the one I chose, and she's south of here. But this is the house. The boarding house right here. There will be more Ted Bundy videos coming up on my channel, and true crime and serial killers. And what's really creepy is right there is the staircase. I mean the fire escape, I'm sorry. So we made it to Midvale Cemetery. Midvale is an area here in Salt Lake City, just south of the downtown, and here to visit the grave of Melissa Smith, one of the victims of Ted Bundy. Like I said, I wish I could visit all. There's a few that are buried here. They're further out. One that was a cenotaph, and some of that burial details unknown. I just chose Melissa at random, but my respects go to all of the victims of Ted Bundy here in Utah and everywhere, of course. And I'll tell you a little bit what I know about what happened with Melissa, and let's go to her last final resting place. Beautiful little cemetery, very, very small. What you see here in this shot, this road, that's it. One road going through in a little suburban area. Melissa was the daughter of the police chief of Midvale, Lewis Smith. He's a police chief, and he's a dad. He had warned her about the dangers of the world. October 18th, 1974, Melissa left a pizza parlor. She was hanging out with friends. You know, that's what you do. It's what you do when you're 17 years old. You're hanging out with friends. She never made it home. Her body was found in Summit Park, October 27th, 1974. She'd been strangled, raped, beaten. Ted Bundy confessed to her murder just before his execution, which was January 24th, 1989. We've got some videos coming from Florida soon, continuing the story of Ted Bundy. Let's walk over and visit Melissa together. It reads, oh, that's heartbreaking. Melissa Smith, July 4th, 1957 to October 27th, 1974. I don't believe in goodbye. And if you're looking for Melissa's grave in the Midvale Cemetery, you're just going to come right in. There's the first tree you're going to see right at the edges. And come from the tree, make a left. Thanks for watching, everybody. That was a visit to Melissa Smith, one of the victims of Ted Bundy. There are so many that are known, few still that are unknown. We're never going to know the full extent of his depravity and his crimes. We never know the full, well, we never know how many victims is what I'm trying to say. And as you can see, the sun's coming down. From where Ted Bundy lived, it's a pretty big drive. He's just roamed these streets. It's a long drive from his place here, and I get a little, it's 17-year-olds, but it's, oh God, those parents, what they went through, and Ted Bundy, electrocuted, you know, when his execution, it wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough for what he did. Rest in peace, Melissa. I hope you're resting in peace. I struggle with that term sometimes when somebody died a horrific death, but I hope they are, and all of Ted Bundy's victims. And Ted, I hope you're rotting. You're cremated. You're gonna see something about that on my video. I hope even those ashes are cremated. All right. I hope even those ashes are rotting. Love you all. Stay safe. Peace out.